need to talk.
Sure, honey, what's up?
About this stupid robot obsession, Nora. I've had enough of it. It's either me or the robot. Come on, choose. Really? What up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be getting our models from Fusion 360 onto paper, so we can print it on a standard size printer, because I don't have a really big one like they have in industry and stuff, and then join them together so we can use them as a template for whatever we're doing, in this case a robot. So let's get going. So here we are in Fusion 360. This is the model of Graticus that I made. It's a bit basic, there's missing a few things, but it's not too bad. I was actually thinking of submitting this for TFI's Render Wars, and you should really go check that out. I'll link that in the description. It's a really good series. Okay, first thing we want to do then is to pick which part we want. So in this case I want this panel here. I would have done like the main or the base to show you, but I've already done that when I was testing how to do this, because it was... It's easy once you know how, but not so easy if you don't. So we're going to go with this panel here, and then so if you notice though, this at the moment, if I can see, find out which one it was, this one here is actually a body, not a component. And to do a drawing, you need it to be a component. So what I'm going to do first is just tell it to create components from body, and then not there. Scroll down here, our component will be down here, and now from here, now we've got it as a component, we can go create drawing, click OK, and then it tells you we've got the one thing. We don't want the full assembly, so it's already selected that one part we want for us. Create new from scratch, that's fine. If you had templates, you can select which template you want, and then this is important. All you've got to do here, you've not got to worry about actual paper size, because I'm going to show you how to tile that in a minute, but you need a paper size that's big enough to house your parts. So in my case, A3 is a good size to fit that. So hit OK, and it'll pull us into the drawing, and then what we've got to do is select right view so we get the full view, and then we want it to, because obviously we're going to be, if you were just doing a sort of proof of concept, you might have it like a 1 to 5, 1 to 10, but we actually want it a 1 to 1, so we can stick it down and cut round it. So boom, click there, that's where we want it, that's fine. That's all we really need to do there. Hit OK, and you'll see it'll pull it out and just pull that part out for us, which is perfect. So this is an optional step, but I like to do that. If you hit D for dimension, you can actually select and get it to show what these dimensions are. So this is, like, obviously you probably not going to want to bother too much about measuring, but this just helps you to measure the actual part itself, and just gives you an idea of whether the print kind of printed out to scale then. Which is also good to do. And down here I'm just going to double click this, and I'm just going to change a few things. Yeah, so what I just did there was just create just add to the title so I know what part it is, and it also gives you the date, name, whatever. You probably saw my full name before, but I just shortened it because I can't be asked to have my name overlapping everything. So yeah, that's all we need to do now. That's literally it. So if we then hit, I like to save this actually as a drawing on our thing. If we put down here, I have actually got a drawings folder. Save, just in case you want to make any adjustments or add to it, or like, because you can add multiple components into this to have a second, so have more than one on one, or more than one view of one thing, if that makes sense. But I'll do a more in-depth video on that later on if anyone's interested. But But yeah, so our main thing, what we want to do now is actually output as a PDF. So if you hit output PDF or sheets, we'll have it open so we can see it afterwards. That's optional. Leave line weights as they are and just hit OK. And then, as you can see, I've already got my part templates in there. So yep, I'll just call it Mark 1 side armor drawing. Yeah, and then we should see as a PDF it is open perfectly. So I don't know why I said it like that, but just go with it. So the next step is to actually get it printed out. So if we go up and hit print up here, by default it's going to be on size, and it's going to want to try and scale it to fit the paper that you're using, but we don't want that. We want it to actually print to scale. So if you hit poster inside of here, this is Acrobat Reader DC, which is the latest version, and you can download that from the Adobe website. There's a tile scale whether you want it to be bigger or smaller, but we want it to be 100%, so we'll leave that. Our overlap, we actually want to be slightly better than that. If you were just going to put them all together and sort of stick them to a wall, you might be alright with 0.005. But in this case, I like to put 0.2, just to give a little bit more meat in between the bits so we can stick them together. We want cut marks. This is not. This is optional, but highly recommended, because this really does help you line things up. You can see exactly where each piece is going to line up with the next one. Labels, it's up to you again. I think it labels each sheet so you know where they go, but I'd leave that off so it doesn't encroach on anything. And then tile, only large pages would be used if you had mismatched pages. So if you had some pages, or you were doing a document that had some pages that was A4, but then other pages that were like A3 or A2, so if you had multiple ones in one document, you can hit this and it'll tile only the bigger pages in that thing. It'll print the normal A4 ones as is, which is pretty good. So that's really all we need to do. If we click on each panel, we can see exactly how it's going to come out. We'll try landscape, see if that comes out a little bit. Yeah, I think landscape looks a little bit better, so we'll do it as landscape. I don't think it makes much of a difference either way, to be fair. I don't think that made any difference whatsoever, so that's useful. So we just need to hit print now, and we'll see the result. Okay, I hope you can see this all right, but this is the best angle I've got to try and demonstrate this. But we've got our printed off sheets now. Makes a change for me not saying 3D printed, doesn't it? So I'm going to try and I'll show you these as they are the right way up first, and then I'm probably going to then put them my way so I can actually see. But you see, there we are. That's our template design. So what I'm going to do now is going to cut off two of the edges that are going to be adjoining, so they all then line up nice and neatly. And for that, I've got this appropriately, everything falling down, appropriately coloured pink guillotine thing, which I borrowed from my mum's crafting stuff. So I'm going to flip these around, and I'm going to get cut in. Oh, incidentally, before I do that completely, just to let you know, I'm going to be cutting off the top and the right of each one. So anything that's like this one here, in your case will be this one here, but anything along this edge and this edge obviously doesn't matter because it's not touching, but anything that's going to be touching another sheet of paper, I'm going to cut the top or the right off. And it's good to keep to two sides like that, or she'll really confuse herself really quick. And also, incidentally, if I can show you, I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but you can see the little cut marks in the corner. I'm not sure how well that's picking that up, but there's little cut marks in the corner. That's what you want to kind of line up to. I think the middle one, the middle line is the bleed, and I think the two other sides is the sort of the edge of each sheet then. So it's just a good way of lining things up. So I'm going to get that going now then. we have it. I actually made a few mistakes on this, which I'll warn you of now. Basically, I tried to cut with this particular cutter. If you've got a decent one, you probably won't have this problem. With this particular cutter, I tried to cut too close to the edge, and it actually scraped some of the paper up a bit there, so that was off. And then that threw me off with lining these up like so badly. So I had to cut these and shut them off and a few times or whatever. But I found a really good way of making sure that like these angles are correct, for example, is by starting with a straight measurement, measuring it once you've got them two lined up. So in this case I measured from there to there, which is the, if I can actually line it up, which is 300, which is like 300.1, it's like near as, damn it, close to that one. So I stuck them together, lined all these lines up, so here, that's all I'm pointing there, here, like where the joins are, line them up, line that up, well, line these up first, and then I lined the join up at the bottom. That was it. So line those up so they all look right, and then I rearranged these together, which took a little bit of messing about, so I stopped the camera and just fiddled about. Line these up, and then I measured these. It's not perfect, but I measured this, and this is 180, which is exactly what you want. So then these, which means all these are practically, yeah, practically all right. And plus, we're not going for ultra precision. If you wanted precision, then you'd go take your design that you've got PDF and then send it off to get it printed, like at a local place that can do A3, A4, A2, A0, A1, whatever size sheets you want, and you'd actually have it properly printed to scale. But being as this is a quick, sort of not ultra precise but kind of precise way of doing things, this is actually a really cool alternative. So now the next step is, because I've done these appropriately held together with the ring from the motor, I've got this is the main base. I had to do that. That was like an A2 size print. That was A3. That's the middle kind of support struts, and then I wanted to also do this one, which is the edge pieces, just to get a bit of an idea, and then the rest can kind of be fitted around that. So yeah, okay, that's about it. The next step is actually just sticking it to a piece of wood and cutting it out. This is a really good way, for me personally, is a really good way of prototyping, making sure everything's going to fit before I commit myself to buying the HDPE, which is rather expensive. It's about £150 for a big sheet, which is what I need. So it's fairly expensive, but it's good stuff, so it's not bad. Next video will probably be either building this, like actually sticking it to a piece of wood and starting making the prototype, or like doing some more with the ESC mounts and that kind of thing. I think I spoke about in the previous video, although I've lost all the footage for, so I'll have to do all that again. So thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment and subscribe, it helps me out a lot, and I shall see you next time. Ta-ta! I am the danger. Ow, that hurt! He's fighting back, doesn't want to be hugged. Sorry, Graticus.